Now, Paul's letter that deals most explicitly with the liturgy is 1 Corinthians. I recommend you read it. If you've never read 1 Corinthians, read it all the way through. Paul wrote the letter because Corinth was beset by scandal and factions. The letter admonishes the Corinthians to settle their differences and to treat one another charitably so they can partake worthily of the sacraments. Chapters 10 and 11 provide us with our richest biblical account of Eucharistic theology. St. Paul says, because there's one bread, we who are many are one body, because we are all partakers of the one loaf. And that's because, he says, because all who eat the sacrifices are partners in the altar, all right? The Eucharist is no common act of worship. The Eucharist is a common act of worship, common to all of us, not a merely individual act. And the one who doesn't discern this, he says, one who doesn't discern that, is actually partaking in a selfish and unworthy manner and becomes guilty of the body and blood of Christ. It's an amazing passage that contains in seed form the two greatest mysteries of the Eucharist. One, the doctrine of the real presence. Two, the holy sacrifice of the Mass. But then, after laying out this beautiful Eucharistic theology, Paul says a very surprising thing. He says about these controversies, there must be factions among you. There must be factions among you, so that those of you who are genuine may be recognized. Remember when Jesus told the apostles the kingdom of God is like the fisherman who throws the net in the sea and draws in all these different fish, good and bad, and the angels sort them out at the end? Or the kingdom of God is like a field with wheat and tares. You leave them both to the end. The angels will sort them out at the end. St. Paul says, there must be factions among you. There have to be controversies among you, so that those who are genuine may be recognized. One of the amazing things about being a Catholic, as James Joyce noticed, was here comes everybody, right? How different the Catholic Church is from the denominational church. In the denominational church, very often, denominations split along demographic, racial, and political lines, around sort of affinity groups. That's the way they have doctrinal differences, but really what stands out when you go there is they're divided along these sort of affinity groups. And the Catholic Church isn't like that. To become a Catholic is not to join an ideological party. To become a Catholic is to worship with people who annoy you, right? And that's the real test of discipleship. That's what Paul teaches us. That's the real test of discipleship. Now, y'all are fans of St. Therese of Lisieux, right? You know her little way. What is the little way of St. Therese? I don't need to be crucified on a hill in a foreign country. This nun is killing me, right? That's what Teresa of Avila used to say the same thing. God save us from pious nuns. It was my favorite quote of Teresa of Avila, right? There's enough to bear with, right, in the people around us with whom we are forced by our Eucharistic fellowship to shake hands with, to love, to show mercy with. St. Augustine said, God gave us the church so that we can have people to do good to, right? And we know Jesus said it's easy to do good to your family and those who are like you, right? That's the real test of discipleship. It's a Christian charity that bears all things and hopes all things. That's 1 Corinthians 13, this beautiful text that we always read at weddings about love. We forget that that's smack dab in the middle of a text on liturgy, right? About putting up with people with disparate gifts, different interests, different races, different languages, different tongues, who've all come together to worship the one Lord and the one altar and the one loaf, that we might be one bread.